Snapchat. If you don't, hit me up on Instagram or in my DMs. Oh, you just reminded me, Hippie, I need to turn off my sounds. I always forget that. There we go. And I need to turn off my bottles. I didn't need my eardrums. I got it turned off. Yo, Kamokin, good morning. For some of y'all, it's midnight. Everybody on the East Coast, it's midnight. Everybody in Central Time Zone or later, Pacific and Mountain Time, we're all still in Monday's time. So, you know, it is what it is. Tonight we have Jake from Amazon going to be the performer. We got Ian Cuddy. And we also have Blue-Eyed Hippie. We have a good show going on tonight. Boy or girl? What? Oh, okay. Talking about. Oh, everybody congratulate Kamokin and Smoking when y'all see them. They are expecting a baby boy. Hey, there you go. There you go. You know, we all know it takes a special man to have girls. I'm not going to say why, but if you know, you know. If you know, you know. We got a few things coming up. I'm going to plug myself real quick. I'm in another auction. I got two auctions. I got a merch auction in Blonde Shells stream on Wednesday at 9 o'clock, I think. And then I'm in an auction on Friday in Andrew stream. It's all on. If y'all look at my Instagram, it's all up there. Y'all can see everything. So, if y'all wondering who's playing, this is Parker McCollum. He's from Conroe, Texas. He's actually just got a deal here in the last couple of years, and he's taken off. But anyway, hey Blake. Have I had you on my show? If not, I would love to get you on my show sometime, buddy. Hey, if you're free next Monday, I need guests for next Monday. So, look, I'll hit you with a hi. We'll get you in there. Kenny, message. Okay, look, I'm gonna send you with a hi right now so I don't forget. Cause look, listen, for those of y'all that don't know me, I'm severely ADD, and if I don't do something when I'm thinking about it, I forget. So, what happened over the weekend? Oh, for all you Dallas Cowboy fans, y'all are back. Y'all are back. Y'all are back to losing, just like I expected y'all to. For all you Dallas Cowboy fans. Oh. So. All right. So who's ready for a little music? Hey, listen. You are? Jake from Amazon. Whenever you're ready, brother. Hey, we made it to the World Series. That's a lot better than 28 other teams, so. And we had 2 gold gloves. Yuli Gurriel got gold glove, and so did Carlos Correa. Okay, now we got Jake from Amazon, y'all. We're coming up.
We'll see later.
Oh, there you go. Hold on. Let me put my. Meet me, Chris Casper, if you're here. Hello, Chris. Can we do something about this echo? Just asking for a friend.
Better?
Y'all did not hear that. Is that better?
Yeah. I still
right.
kind of hear it echo in my ears, but it's okay.
Well, look, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to mute myself real quick, but I'm going to ask you a question. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do in your stream, and maybe mention something that we don't know about you that you might want us to know.
I bet. My name is Jake from Amazon. I've been on this app for quite a long time. A lot of y'all know me. A lot of you guys know me as Jake from Allstate. That was my old account. So I've kind of been around since my yearbook. I've kind of known a lot of the top badges since they kind of started. Been around here too long. I think I'm coming up on 8 years since I've downloaded this. If you count my yearbook in this app. Usually I go live a lot. I mainly do like karaoke nights. We'll get people in the box and kind of show your talent. Sometimes we'll sing if you play an instrument. Actually there was a guy that came in. He played like the ukulele out. Like it's kind of like anything that's music related. I don't know. I'm one of those guys that's like I like to jump in people's lives and just hang out in the comments. I try to define myself as a vibe check. So I try to just vibe out with everybody. But I'm a singer-songwriter on here. That's another thing I like to do. So I love to sing. So if you haven't heard me sing tonight, hopefully I can blow you guys away. If not, well, see what happens. So yeah. So
okay. So that is, hey, you know what? I didn't know that you did karaoke night and you had people all in there. So you're gonna have to let me know when that is so I can come in and get people for the show to perform, or if you would like, you can help me. That'd be a great help. Because I think that's the one hard thing is to find not only finding entertainment and performers for the show, but find people that are gonna show up.
I could give you a list of people that would do.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So what's your favorite genre of music?
Favorite genre? I'm a country boy.
You're a country boy?
Love country.
Amen.
I mean,
amen. Thank God I'm a country boy.
I'm a born again spirit-filled Christian, and I'm very open about my religion. But like my top two are definitely Christian music or country. But lately I've been kind of listening to some like older music, kind of like Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, a little bit of Tony Bennett, stuff like that.
Well, if you like country music, I'm a little older than you. If you like country music and you like Frank Sinatra, George Strait did a recorded version where they added his voice into Fly Me to the Moon. And it sounds like a duet. If you ever get a chance, look up George Strait, Fly Me to the Moon, and it's him and Frank Sinatra. And it's wonderful. It's wonderful. If you like both of them artists, if you like country music, you'll like them. Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming to the show. But anyway, yeah, that's a very good song if you like both of them artists.
I'll have to look that in. I'll have to look into that.
So you told me where you was from when I was in your stream earlier, and for the life of me, I can't remember. I want to say you said Oklahoma.
Okay, so I've lived everywhere.
No, Louisiana. He's from Louisiana.
So I've actually, since being on this earth, so I'm only 24. I'm pretty young, but
wait. You're 24 and you've been on this app for 8 years?
I downloaded this app when I was 16. I was kind of a bad boy in high school, low key. But
well, hey, look, most people don't know this, and I do because I've been on this app for a long time too. That the age used to be 15 requirement to be on this app until they started the live streaming. When they started the live streaming, they went up on the age requirement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So since living on this earth, I have lived in 17 states. My dad works for the Pentagon, so like we move around a lot because my dad works for the government. So, but I went off to college. I went to UCLA. I just graduated. Like I think it was like the end of 2019 is when I graduated, and then I kind of moved back home. The longest I went to high school in Nebraska, so I live here now because this is where a lot of my family lives right currently. So kind of in Nebraska at the moment, but yeah, I've kind of lived everywhere.
That's pretty awesome to be 24 years old and to have traveled that much. Like I'm 44 and I haven't traveled that much. I'm gonna be honest with you. So that's amazing that you've been able to experience that.
Yeah.
Have you been to any countries besides the United States?
Yes. Yeah. So I've been at the same church for several years now, and I've gone on 9 missions trips. I have been to Haiti. I've been to London, Paris. I've been to South Wales, which, by the way, if you guys have not gone to the UK, pretty beautiful. Probably the most beautiful place I've ever been in my life. I've been to Sydney, Australia, and been to Mexico, Panama, and my last missions trip that I went on was Greenland. And then I'm going on another missions trip in February, and we're going to South Korea. So
Wow, that to be 24 years old and to be so well cultured and traveled is amazing. Because like I say, I'm 44 years old. I've been out of Texas. If you count the many times I've been to Louisiana to go gambling, which if you know anything about Texas, we're like us in Louisiana are like brother and sister. So we're there. Like I don't really count that because I've been there 1,000 times, especially because they got the casinos there. Um, but that's about it. I've been to Oklahoma one time. My mother went. She used to live in Paris, Texas, and we used to drive to Oklahoma to get her cigarettes. It's like a 15-minute drive from Paris, Texas. And then I've been to New Mexico when I was 12 years old skiing, and that's it. I'm 44 years old. So you have already seen 10 times more of the world than I have.
I think the coolest part. I mean, COVID has not been cool. Okay, honestly, I think. Okay, hear me out. I think COVID has been a blessing in disguise. Not with like the getting sick and everything, but like this app. Like I have met people from all over the world, and when you're stuck inside, the coolest thing was to get on this app and just get to know new people around the world. And I've built a lot of really close friendships on this app during the COVID time when we were in quarantine. It was definitely a blessing in disguise.
Absolutely. You know what? I agree with that point. Um, the rest of it is sucked.
Right, right.
Not being able to go to restaurants and the movie theater and all that was horrible to me because, like, one of the things I like to do, even though I know I can wait a couple of months and watch stuff at home, I like to go watch it on the big screen and enjoy just the being out and being at the movies and
Mhm.
kind of enjoying the experience.
Right.
But yeah, man, like I've seen you. Like I said, I know I've seen you in a few streams. We've never talked until here recently. But yeah, well, man, whenever you're ready, man, you got something you ready to sing for us?
Yes, sir. All right, so I got two songs. Uh, well, I'll start. So since I'm kind of like the beginning and the end, I'm gonna do like a slow song at the beginning, and then we'll come back and hit it off with a Tennessee whiskey at the end.
Hey,
Kind of
real
a
quick,
hoorah.
real quick before you start, who is your favorite country artist?
Ooh. I do like Thomas Rhett. I would definitely say that because uh, one, his story is really similar to mine, kind of like personally wise, but I would definitely say his music definitely hits home with a lot of things I've been through in my life. Just the meaning behind his songs. But I would definitely say Thomas Rhett's definitely up there. Another one is definitely Morgan Wallen. I do love that dude. Florida Georgia Line, definitely. Chris Stapleton, another great one. But yeah, but back when I grew up with Josh Turner and Blake Shelton when I was growing up, so I love me some country.
Well, I'm fixing to age myself a little bit. One of my favorite singers growing up was when I was a teenager was Red Akins, which for those of you that don't know, you probably know if he's one of your favorite singers. His actual name is Thomas Rhett Akins, and Red Akins is actually is Thomas Rhett Akins Sr., and that's his dad. And his dad's a great songwriter and one of my favorite. He was one of my favorite artists when I was a teenager. He wrote a song I used to love to sing. It was called "I Break for Brunettes." It was an awesome song. If you never heard it, look it up. But whenever
Good
you're
stuff.
ready, man, I'm gonna mute myself and we'll get going.
All right. So the first song I'm gonna sing, it's called "This City" by Sam Fisher. If you guys don't know who Sam Fisher is, he's kind of he's contemporary, but he's like I would say he reminds me of Callum Scott. He's very like low key, but yeah, the first song I'm gonna sing is Sam Fisher. this city. So I hope you guys like it. And yeah, I'm gonna take my headphones off for this. So cool. All right. Hope you guys like it. All right. I've been seeing lonely people in crowded rooms, covering their old heartbreaks with new tattoos. It's all about smoke screens and cigarettes, looking through low lights and silhouettes. I see lonely people in crowded rooms. The city's gonna break my heart. City's gonna allow me to leave me alone. City's got me chasing stars. Been a couple months since I felt like I'm home, and I'm getting closer to knowing where I belong. City's gonna break my heart. City's gonna break my heart. I remember mornings when my head didn't hurt. I remember nights when I didn't feel like work. She wakes up at noon and she's up till 3. She leaves her perfume all over me. Mornings when my head didn't hurt. The city's gonna break my heart. City's gonna allow me to leave me alone. City gonna chasing stars. Been a couple months since I felt like I'm home, and I'm getting closer to knowing where I belong. City's gonna break my heart. She's always gonna break your heart. Oh, she's gonna break your heart. Yeah, hold on me. She got me wrapped around her fingers. She got a hold on me. She got me wrapped around her fingers. City's gonna break. Oh, she's gonna break your heart. Yeah, getting closer where I belong. City's gonna break my heart. Gonna break your heart. Oh, yeah. City's gonna break my heart. Break your heart. Break your heart. Always gonna break your heart. Yeah. Yeah. Woo. Sweet.
Yo, that was amazing, brother. That was amazing. Listen, I'm going to tell y'all a little something about me. When I was growing up, I didn't like singers that had a high-pitched voice because I always thought they sounded like girls, right? So, like, I would always be like, that guy sounds like a girl. I don't like him. You know what I mean? I was a kid. That's the way I thought. And I got older, and I sing a lot, and somebody asked me to do a Vince Gill song, and I'm like, man, I can't sing a Vince Gill song. And they're like, yeah, if anybody can do it, you can. Well, I end up being good at singing Vince Gill songs, and then I thought, hey, that's pretty cool. So then I dove into people that sing like that, and they're actually some of the most talented people around because their voices hit so much deeper. They hit here, you know what I mean? And you have one of those voices. I just want to put that out there.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Man, dude, if y'all didn't feel that song, there was something else I was going to ask him when we got through. Now I don't remember.
It's all good. If you remember it, I'll be back at the end.
All right, man. I appreciate you. Okay, who we got? Okay, next up we got Blue Eyed Hippie, man. Jake, thank you. I'll see you at the end of the show, brother.
Heck yeah, bro.
Y'all, if y'all don't know Blue Eyed Hippie, get ready.
Hi, guys.
Wait, no echo. Thank God.
I put my earbuds in just for you.
Amen. Amen. Meet me if you're listening. Please fix the echo.
Please fix the echo.
Well, Blue Eyed Hippie, tell us. I mean, I already know about you, but tell everybody a little bit about you, what you do on your streams, what time you stream, and a few things about you that we may not know.
Okay. Well, I'm Blue Eyed Hippie. I usually stream every day, but I've been taking care of my mom. So I try to stream every day at 8 p.m. I haven't been on that much except for my featured show because I've been taking care of my mom. I've been her caregiver for the past 2 months. I have a featured show on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 p.m. Eastern, called Who Knows Best, where I have 2 guest featured streamers in the boxes. They have 3 of their supporters who compete on who knows them best. Kenny Wayne was just on last week. It was amazing. Not only do we get to learn more about the streamers that we watch every day, but we get to see their supporters and how much they listen because they're the ones hanging out in our streams, you know. So it's a fun show. A little bit about myself. I'm a marine life advocate. I'm a part of a couple of different organizations: Sea Shepherd Conservation Society, Animal Rights Protection League, Seal Watch in La Jolla, California. I am from California. I have 2 college degrees, 2 specialties. I am a teacher. I've been working at the same school, same district for 8 years now. I'm actually in charge of 5 teachers, 150 students, and I solely run an after-school program through the district. So I'm like an after-school principal. I believe that God gave me a voice for animals and children. Like, I try to be the voice of those who don't have one. So I throw myself into a lot of advocacy work, a lot of volunteer work, a lot of protesting, a lot of fun stuff.
Man, that's amazing. So you got your teaching degree. What's your other degree?
I have a degree in child development education and social behavioral science. I have a specialty with special needs children and a specialty with infants and toddlers. I figured as I become like an old lady, I could be one of those like old ladies that like one of the preschools just rocking the babies. So I'm like, let me get a specialty when I'm done with like the K through 8 grades. And I'm like, oh, I'm over it. I'm like, let me do something with the littles so I can always like be a part of it. Or maybe I can like volunteer at the hospitals and just like be there for like the NICUs, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's amazing. That's amazing. And I'm going to tell y'all, and look, I know people in my stream are teachers. Ashley down there that's commenting. She's a teacher. So she knows that's why she's putting the laughing emojis, because she knows everything that you're talking about. She lives it. She's a teacher. And listen, I have so much respect for teachers because like I see what y'all have to put up with. Like my kids, like I always kept them in line, and the teachers knew if they called me that my kids would straighten up like that. So I never had an issue. My kids knew like they didn't want the teacher to call me. So
I always say your best kid is going to be your worst kid, and your worst kid is going to be your best kid. You're going to learn more about yourself from your students that have the behavioral problems, behavioral challenges. You're going to learn patience. And again, like they flip roles. No day is ever the same with kids. And your best student who has their best behavior will be your worst student at a certain point because they're children. They're learning through progression and development, and this is their time to figure it out.
I have so much respect for y'all because I just don't think I'd have the patience. Like I literally think I'd be calling some parents going, listen, if you don't come get your kid, we're going to have a major issue.
You know, that happens. It does. I like to use behavioral contracts. I try not to give up on the kids. I try to push through whatever they're going to, because whatever's happening that day for them is honestly the most important thing for them, because they don't think about tomorrow or the next day or the next day. Whatever's happening in the present is like what's going on for them. So I try to be really, just aware of what's going on in their lives. We don't know what they ate for dinner last night. We don't know if their, parents yelled at them this morning. You don't know. So you have to kind of tiptoe around their behavior just a little bit.
Yeah, I've never mentioned this in my stream, but my niece is a teacher, and she got her teaching degree from U of H here in Houston, and she works at, I call it a not a it ain't really a bad school, but it's in a bad neighborhood. And
Yeah.
all the time I'm like, why are you working in that dangerous neighborhood? It's dangerous, like where she works. And it's a new school, but they built it right in the middle of a dangerous place. And I'm like, please be careful. Like, that's crazy. And she's like, you know what? She says, you know what, Uncle Kenny? She says, I actually like working over there because there's so many kids that don't get stuff at home, and I like helping them and seeing, like she was telling a story about like something about one of the parents said her kids needed something, and she goes, no, what they need is for you to pay attention to them. I was like,
Right.
did you say that to that parent? And she goes, no, I didn't say that, but I wanted to. I was like, wow.
I work in a pretty tough school. I work in a very hard area. I'm surrounded by, it's a beautiful school. It's aesthetically pleasing, but I'm surrounded by trailer parks. So I have a lot of kids who, they don't have the best environment around them. So for a lot of my kids, I'm like the one consistent thing that they do have. Like, I'm there every day. Well, except for the last 2 months I've been on LOA from my mom, but I'm going back to work on Monday. I miss my students so much. I can't wait. But yeah, for a lot of these kids, I feel like, you just got to show up and shell out,
Yeah, and listen, I don't know what's wrong with your mom, and I'm not going to touch on that because it may be something you don't want to talk about. But I just wanted to say, like, me and my brothers took turns taking care of my dad um, a few years ago before he passed. And I'm going to tell y'all, listen, if you're doing it by yourself, God bless you, because we were taking turns and it was difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, especially,
It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
especially like, when your parents get older. And for those of y'all that don't know, I'm gonna touch on this a little bit because y'all probably have parents in this age range. When a person hits 50 years of age or older, if they get a UTI, it gives the same exact symptoms as Alzheimer's or dementia. And that is tough. I've dealt with it, and I'm telling you, it's very difficult. And so I just want y'all to be aware while I'm thinking about that, be aware to keep out for things like UTIs and stuff when your parents get older, because it can cause so many problems. So many problems.
Yeah, it's been really hard. I definitely have a new respect for caregivers. My mom on September 20th, she went in for just a regular stint, to like a regular procedure, get a stent in her heart, and she died, and she coded, and they had to bring her back to life. So she was in a coma after that for 9 days, and then she was hospitalized when they didn't think she was going to wake up, but she did. Thank the Lord. Through prayer, through everybody on this app praying. I mean, I had prayer because of this app. I was able to put prayer chains all over the world. Like, I was able to hit up everybody I knew that was Christian, Catholic, a believer, anybody that I knew who loved the Lord. I was like, please put my mom in your church's prayer chain. Please reach your community. And I mean, I had people checking in on me every day, seeing how I was, how my mom was. And when she came out of everything and I could actually give good news, it was just like, oh, she's alive. She woke up. Now she's home. She started walking again. So she's doing amazing. She's doing great. She's walking on her own. So, looks like she might pull through this.
Man, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Like I say, for those of y'all that have never had to take care of your parents, I'm going to tell you that is one of the toughest things, because, like with my dad, I'm just going to put this in. I hadn't really talked much about it, but with my dad, he was one of the people that was larger than life. And like, he was always the boss. You know what I mean? Like, in every situation, he told you what to do and you did it. And he barked orders. Not really barked orders, but like when he told people to do stuff, the world moved. So it was hard for him being in the position he was in. And we're like, hey, you got to do this, you got to do that. And he's like, no, I don't. Like, at one point he had to go to the hospital, and I can laugh about it now, but I called the ambulance, and I'm like, I met him outside. I'm like, listen, he's not eating. He's lost all this weight. You need to take him. Hold on, let me block that out of here. You need to take him in to the hospital. And I'm going to tell you, the way the law is, it's kind of crazy. It ain't, but it is. But if an EMT asks your parents certain questions and they can answer them. And then they pass all their vital tests. If they don't want to go to the hospital, even if they know something's wrong with them, if they don't want to go to the hospital, they don't have to.
They don't have to. Yeah.
So
It's
like
crazy.
now I can laugh. Now I can laugh
Yeah.
about it, but at the time I was like, what in the world? You know, like that's crazy.
I gotta say, you don't realize how much you need, want, and love somebody until you think you're gonna lose them. Like I have a second chance now to build a greater relationship with my mom, to let her know how much I appreciate her on a daily basis. And I'm so glad that I have that, because if she just would have gone when she did, like, and gone, like, I would have just felt empty inside, because there's so much I still need to tell her. So we have that chance. Like me and my siblings, my brother and sister, we have that chance to tell her everything we want to. So if this ever happens again, we can be like, whew, we did it. You know, we talked to her, we let her know everything so she knows. It's love your parents. If you have good parents, love your parents.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, and the funny thing about it, I almost forgot. The funny thing about it is the ambulance driver the EMT looked at my dad and they said, sir, you going to let us take you to the hospital today? And he looked him right in the eye and he goes, no, I don't believe I'm going to the hospital today. And I looked at him, I'm like, Pop, like, you really need to go. And he looked at me and he goes, who are you to tell me I need to go somewhere? And I'm just like, well.
You're like, all right.
So that's what's hard, is when you know they need to go and you can't. I even told the EMT, I said, look, I'm going to pick him up, load him in my truck, and I'm just going to take him to the emergency room. And the guy says, listen, if you do that and you get there and he tells them he don't want to be there, they're not going to treat him. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God.
Right. Old people are funny, man. They're like stubborn. My mom's hella stubborn. She was kicking nurses out when she woke up in the hospital, kicking nurses out of the room, telling people to leave. Like, I'm like, Mom, like, they can't leave. Like, I want to go home. She like left early and like signed herself out. Like, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, stay there as long as you can. You know, she was
she
like
sounds
ready.
Like me. She sounds like she sounds like me. Look, I went to a minor ER one time, and they were trying to send me to some hospital that I didn't want to go to. And I'm like, listen, I'm only going to go to this hospital. And they're like, no, we can only get you here because there's a bed. I said, well, okay. I said, what if I leave here and go down to the hospital I want? Well, you're going to have to wait in the emergency room. I said, that's a hell of a lot better than the hospital you're trying to send me to. And so I said, give me the paperwork. And I signed myself out. And I don't suggest this, but I signed myself out and I Ubered myself to the other hospital I wanted to go to. It was a lot cheaper than an ambulance.
Right? That's actually, I mean, if you're able to, that's a better option than an ambulance, that's for sure.
Yeah, but like most Ubers, if they know something's wrong with you, they're not gonna, because they're not doctors or nurses, they're not gonna take you. I just called an Uber. I went home and called an Uber and was like, hey, I need to go see some,
Yeah.
I figure I could hold it together for 30 minutes.
That's funny.
So I heard you say you're from California. You lived there all your life?
I have. I've lived everywhere. I've been to most all states. I traveled for a year, city to city, state to state. I've been to Mexico, Canada. But I am from California, born and raised, born in Oceanside, lived here my whole life. Absolutely love it. Cali girl through and through.
So you've been to Texas before?
I have a lot of family in Texas. So yeah, I've been to Texas.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, Texas is great. I love it. I couldn't imagine living anywhere else. I seen Kamokin sit out. They tried to pry me out of Texas. And my thing is, my kids are 17 years old. They're seniors in high school. And now once they graduate and they go to college, then I'll be free to do whatever I want. But like right now, I'm worried that they might get off track in their last year. So I'm like, you're close to the finish line. I'm going to be here to make sure that I push you across that finish line one way or the other and that you don't get in no trouble. So like, I'm afraid to leave my kids for a couple of days without no supervision.
Yeah. Well, definitely. Teenagers. They're teenagers. They're in like the prime of, I will say Blake Premier is on a journey, and Texas is where he might be laying his head. He might be calling Texas home. So if he ends up moving to Texas, I'll be going to Texas at least once every couple months to visit him. So I'll have to get together for sure.
Well, Texas is huge. So it just depends on where in Texas. Cause like
Texas is too big.
in most states, when you go from one to the other, of course, California, like I know people that live in San Diego and their parents live north up through the mountains, and it takes them like 6 hours to get there. So, California's long. So you probably know a little bit about that, but like Texas is not only long, but it's wide.
Oh, it takes days to get through Texas.
Well, from Beaumont, Texas, or Orange, Texas, which is right on the state line, to El Paso, which is the other state line, is like 800 and something miles.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, and it's almost the same. I think I did it not too long ago, and it's almost the same from north to south. So
I drove through Texas to go to Oklahoma to go to my best friend's funeral like 6 years ago. And I just remember kept on saying, like, are we out of Texas yet? Like, are we still in Texas? Like, where are we? They're like, we're in Texas. I'm like, we're still in Texas? Can we get out of Texas, please? It takes forever. But I do like to travel. I've been to every state except for New York and Florida. There's a couple I haven't been to, but I was lucky to be able to travel when I was young. I turned 20 in Indiana. I went traveling when I was 19, took off for a year with a bunch of my friends, and we just did it up like gypsies. It was pretty awesome.
Hey, that's amazing. Me, I haven't done a whole lot of traveling like that because, like, I drove to Florida one time, to Orlando, to go to Disney World, of course, and I drove it 15 hours straight through. And man, let me tell you, by the time I got out of the vehicle, like, I was ready. Well, I'm gonna tell you, it took me a week to get to Florida because we went to Louisiana and we stopped in New Orleans for a day or two. Then we went here and we stopped in the first part of Florida, Fort Lauderdale, I think, was where we stopped. It didn't take a week; it took like 3 or 4 days. But on the way back, we had to be back, so we had to drive it straight through. And I'm gonna tell you, I really have a respect for truck drivers because I'm in a regular vehicle and they're in these 18-wheelers pulling all this stuff, and they're, it's crazy.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, somebody just said they love your background. I just noticed that. And
I've
been sitting here. How did you make that happen?
So I have like a spacey kind of like tapestry, and then I just have the galaxy.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then when you put the little sparkle thing, the little sparkle feature that we have when we're actually streaming, that's when everything starts to tingle back here or like light up because of the lights. I have two different lights that I use, but this one I like a lot.
I'm digging it.
Sorry if my thing keeps moving. My cat is like bumping into the stand.
Y'all, if y'all don't have blue-eyed hippie, are you on this side or this side? I don't know.
Your right hand. Nope. Yeah, right there. Nope, other way. Yep, right there.
It's opposite. I got to remember that. It's opposite. If y'all don't have her favorite, please favorite her. Go check out her show. And your show is on Wednesdays?
Wednesdays, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard. It is Who Knows Best. If you guys are interested, if I have any streamers in here who are like, yo, I want to be on your show, hit me up on Instagram. It's Blue-Eyed Hippie _POF_meet me. And I would love to have you on. This week I have Scottish King and DJ NorCal Battles. Hey. Oh, it's going to be nice. Yeah.
NorCal was just in there. Awesome.
So, but thank you for having me, Kitty. This has been awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you for being an amazing guest and making everything flow just good. So
for sure. I'll see you guys later.
Everybody go check out our show on Wednesdays and 11 p.m. Eastern, and give her a favorite and go show her some love when she's live. She's live every day.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you for. All right. Last but certainly not least, we have my man Cuddy. Cuddy probably fell asleep going, what's taking so long? Oh, he's awake.
Almost sleeping. Almost.
Almost sleeping.
Almost sleeping, buddy.
So tell everybody a little bit about yourself. Obviously, we know you're from somewhere in Canada.
I'm from Northern Ontario, Canada, so just about 2 hours south of Toronto. So I just got to say, though, before I get started, Jake, absolutely fantastic work to start the show off, man. Like, Honestly, music for me really touches my soul. I'm big on lyrics. I love the fact that I love artists that really are into their lyrics. So very good job, man. Um, I hate to say it, but I actually get nervous jumping in a box, believe it or not.
You've been in my box 100 times.
I know, but weird, eh? I've been in front of cameras and I get nervous coming into a
Well,
box. Go figure.
and for those of you that don't know, and I'll let him touch on this after I say this, Cuddy has been on a TV show before. If y'all don't know, he builds cars and he's I guess a body man and a mechanic, probably a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. Yeah. So I do fabrication and body work. I restore antique cars, work on celebrities' cars. I've personally done cars for Drake. I worked in the city where all I did was high-end cars. So I got to be blessed with the opportunity to work on Drake's Rolls-Royce Phantom 8. Um, it's just I've been very blessed to do many things that most people wouldn't have been able to do. Um, so yeah, that's kind of what I did. I did a television show for a few years. Then did that, got into doing what I do now, and it's like a passion for me. Kenny. You know that. I live for anything with four wheels and a V8, right?
Right, absolutely. Well, and that's probably why he likes music so much because what he does is a form of art. I can't even say it. Artistic. Can you say it for me? I can't say it for whatever reason. It's a form of art. What he does is a form of art, and so is singing. It's all a form of art. So
Absolutely.
as an artist, which I consider him an artist, when you're able to put cars together and fabricate them, you always like what other people do that are artists, no matter what it is, whether it's painting or singing or writing songs or playing a guitar or whatever the case. And I'm sure that's probably why you like music so much. I mean, that's why I like it.
100% is I can appreciate any person that puts time into their craft. And musicians, artists, anything. You're not gonna if you're blessed enough to be good at something overnight, then that's a gift from God, in my opinion. I know myself in my craft. I've got 15 years in my craft, and it's only been in the last maybe 6 that I've really gotten to a point where it's like, you know what, I feel like I haven't mastered it, but I've got a pretty strong handle on it. So it's anything that takes skill and you have to put time into that I can appreciate it.
What is your favorite build that you've ever built?
My favorite build, to be honest, wasn't a high end build. I did a bus, a VW Westphalia bus for a radio station, 99.9. And that was probably one of the funnest builds I ever did. Like most builds that I used to do were concours style builds, like the 1935 Bugatti Aerolift made out of magnesium, $3.5 million build. I don't like building cars like that. Um, I like building cars that are practical, fun, and are drivable. So the VW bus for me was probably one of my favorite builds, just for the fact that I could be comfortable enough to do it and like just enjoy the build. It wasn't stressful. Like on those builds, the really high end builds, every nut and bolt, every screw head has to be aligned in the perfect order. Like if they're off, you lose points. That to me doesn't seem fun. So it would be the VW bus. I just like building cars for everyday people. You know what I mean? Like I've seen I've seen the good end of the industry, and I've also seen the horrible end of the industry and what it can do to people. And you know, I've seen it where it costs 50,000. I've seen it where it costs 350,000 or 3.5 million. So yeah, like I've seen all ends of the spectrum. I've seen, and I don't mean to touch on this, but like I've seen families broken apart over a car. So you know, it's kind of inspired me to really master my craft and to be the best that I can be doing what I can do, because like I look at things a little differently, right? I don't look at this thing as a car. Like Kenny, your truck. We've talked about your truck a few times. Um, I don't look at it as a car as a materialistic thing. Like for me, a lot of these vehicles, and when they come to me, they're sentimental. A lot of them are passed down from family members, and I'm given the responsibility of basically building your dream and not only building your dream, but making you relive a memory. So I've had it where a lot of cases, it's like a customer would come in and bring a car in, and it was their father's car, and they want to relive that one moment when they remember riding with their dad on a Sunday morning. And these cars, mind my language, they're biggest pieces of shit. They're ready for the junkyard. And I'm entrusted to try to bring you back to that point in life. So I take what I do very seriously, and it's not just metal for me. It's like, okay, I want to make you smile. I want to make you cry. And when I give you that car back, I want you to basically go in there and basically see that loved one or whatever. Basically, I want to rebuild that memory for you.
Man, you just brought back a memory for me, talking about riding. My dad had a 1977 Cadillac. It was green. And I'll never forget it. It would start without the key. So a lot of times my dad, we just jump in the car and we go. And every once in a while, like once every 2 or 3 months, we'd go somewhere and we'd be doing something. We go get in the car and he'd get in and it wouldn't start. The thing wouldn't work. And he would call my best friend's dad, who was one of his best friends, and he would call him and say, "Hey, can you go by my house and grab my keys? I left them at the house because I jumped in the car. It always starts and it didn't." So I remember that, but I remember being in that situation. So you triggered that for me when you was talking about riding in the car.
Kenny, it's crazy. It's crazy how much sentimental value we put on the cars. Like, we spend more time in our cars. A lot of people spend a lot of time in their cars, and they appreciate these cars. So it's like, it's bigger than just two, 4 wheels. It's there's so much more to it than that. And so I've always tried to be passionate about what I do, and where I'm going now in life. I'm starting to write a book, and now I find myself, since I'm a born again Christian, I find what I do now translating into ministry, which is kind of crazy. So I see a little bit of I might see a career shift soon. So it's interesting. It's just, life is interesting. Yeah, Jake, it's really interesting how he works, So, but yeah, I've seen some horror stories. I'll tell you one. It's like a good friend of mine, and we met through unfortunate circumstances through his car. He had a 1970 Challenger, and he was told $100,000 to rebuild the car. I watched him mortgage his house, basically go gray over 1 year. And when he got his car back, he was at $180,000, and the car was just a rolling chassis, no motor, no transmission, no nothing in it. So he had to pull the car out of the shop I was working at. And by the time he got the car done, he was $260,000 in the car. And he'll never pull that out. He literally was retired. His wife was retired. They had to sell their house. So I've seen the upsides to it, and I've seen the downsides to it. So
Man, what makes somebody spend their whole life savings on something like that?
Here's the thing. Restoration Garage, yeah. Here's the thing is, when you're told $100,000, Kenny, and you got $100,000 already tied up in your car, and they're telling you, don't worry, it's going to be another $10,000 and we're going to be done, or another $20,000, then you put that $20,000 in. Hypothetically, think of it as your dad's car and he left it to you. How do you walk away from that car having that much into it? How do you, like, they're telling you you're so close, and this is the way, and this is what really frustrates me about the industry, which I'm going to write in my book, is they're selling you your dreams and what's your dream worth. And you have to be very careful about who you trust with it, because I've physically seen this with my own eyes, where guys are walking out $200,000, $300,000 when they were told $100,000. And when you got that 80K in, and they're telling you, don't worry, we just need another 30 and we'll be done. But then that 30 dissipates. We just need another 15. When do you stop? How do you learn to pull that plug to say, no, I need to stop now? It's a hard one, because it's hard, because they know they got your own, they're pulling on your heartstrings, honestly.
Wow. I figured for that much you could build the whole car from scratch.
100% you could.
Wow.
Absolutely you could. And, as a consumer, you have to be very careful on who you trust. Like, references, you need to be checking this stuff. You need to honestly be checking out who you entrust with your stuff, because it can go south in a hurry. Like, I've been in the industry for 15 years, and if I told you half of what I see, you guys would shake your head. You go, there's no way this is possible. There's absolutely no way. I tell you, I've
So,
seen people go completely bankrupt over cars.
man, that's crazy. Man, so you've been in the industry 15 years. What did you do before this?
I was a mechanic. I was chasing my mechanical apprenticeship, and I worked for Canadian Tires, and I did a service advisor position, and I just couldn't get my license. Nobody would sign me up. So um, I did that. I had my youngest daughter at the time, and I was turning, I don't know how old I was. I was young. And I was like, okay, something's got to change. And I was working for a place called the Guild of Automotive Restorers, and I wanted to work on hot rods so long, and I was a mechanic, and I just kept begging this company every week for like a year straight. I'm like, yo, get me in, get me in. Well, they called me one day, and I went for an interview, and I ended up starting as a janitor just to get my foot in the door. So I took a pay cut. I lost a lot just to chase a dream. Like, and I took it and ran with it. Little did I know that they were filming a TV show at the time. I had no clue that they had a pilot series film. No idea what I walked into. But hindsight being 2020, it gave me the opportunity to do some things that most people won't be able to do in their life.
So you started out as a janitor, and that's when the TV show was going on, and you didn't have any clue.
So I started as a janitor. The TV show hadn't started filming yet, so they filmed the pilot, and they were pitching the idea to different networks, and I had no idea. And then I was cleaning toilets. I was scrubbing toilets and maintaining the building for 16 other people, like cleaning up after 16 men. It was fucking disgusting, but I didn't look at it. I looked at it like, okay, I know what I'm here for, and I just got to push forward. And then literally 4 or 5 months into doing this, boom, a fucking film crew showed up, and I'm like, the fuck?
Be
What's
careful
going on
with the
here?
F-bombs.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No
So I was like,
worries.
all right, what's going on here? And they're like, oh yeah, we got picked up by History Channel, and we're filming Restoration Garage. I was like, all right. And I was doing this for a while, and I went to the manager. I'm like, all right, I'm not getting no younger, so I need to move up or I need to head out. And this is just as the film crew was starting to film. And I was like, I need to make a move. I can't stay in this position forever. And if you want me to stay here, we need to move me into a direction where I'm actually going to start building. They're like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, I've been a mechanic. I tried getting my license. I'm kind of soured from that. Let's try fabrication and bodywork. And lo and behold, here we go. 10 years, 15 years later, I'm still doing it, but it's just persistence, right?
Hey, that's amazing that you got that job that way, because I remember sitting with a guy talking with a guy that my dad was friends with at this coffee shop we used to go to. His name was Ray Kaufman. And I was like, man, how do you get a job as a backhoe operator? How did you, because I was asking him, like, because I was young at the time and I was trying to look for things to go. And I said, how did you get a job as an operator? He says, I lied my way into it. And I said, what? He said, yeah. He says, I went up to this job site and I said, hey, I'm an operator. I need a job. He goes, so they hired me. He goes, I didn't know nothing about operating heavy equipment, but I told him I did.
That's
And he
great.
goes, so he says, the first day I'm over here, I'm messing around, I figure a little bit out, but I don't figure enough out, and they figure out real fast that I don't know anything. And of course they hey, this is your last day, you kick rocks down the road. He goes, so I just did that over and over until, I lasted 2 days and 3 days and then a week and then 2 weeks. And then, the more I lasted different places, I would learn a little more. And eventually he goes, I become an operator, and he goes, that's, you just go and tell them that's what you do. Of course, now they probably check references, but this was back in the old days when you could just go tell somebody, hey, this is what I do. But that kind of reminded me of you scrubbing the toilets just to You
It's
know,
persistence. Yeah, it's dedication. It's like I have a mindset. It's like if it's easy to obtain, it's easy to lose. And
absolutely,
anything that's worthwhile obtaining, you got to work for it.
absolutely.
So I've always I'm a stubborn person. I'm so stubborn. It's like when I start something, I don't leave it unfinished. Even if I don't like the task, you don't leave something unfinished. So it's like I
Absolutely.
knew I wanted to play with hot rods, and I was like, whatever it takes to do it, I'm gonna do it, even if that means grinding, scrubbing toilets, and that's I would love to see the younger generation grab that drive, because you know what? There's a lot of talented young kids out there that if they applied themselves and thought with the same mindset, like, I'm going to go get it. Don't think you're entitled to anything. Go and get
Hey,
it.
it's funny you say that because I worked for my dad when I was younger, and me and him had a conversation one time because he hated when anybody said, "Well, that's not my job." My dad would tell somebody real quick, "I'm the boss, and your job is to do whatever I tell you to do. I write your paycheck, and if I tell you to go scrub the bathroom, that's what you're going to do. I don't care if you run a backhoe 7 days a week. If
Yep.
or 6 days a week. On the seventh day, if I tell you to go clean the bathroom, you can clean the bathroom or you can go hit the road." And he told me that. And he said, that goes for anybody that works for me. He says, this new generation, this is what he told me. He said, this new generation thinks that everything's done in parts. That's what he said. He goes,
Mhm.
you work for me, ain't nothing done in parts. Your part is whatever I tell you to do, regardless.
Yep.
And because I've seen him send my brother home when I was younger, tell my brother get in his truck and go home, he's fired. And I'm sitting there going, like, did he really just do that? But my dad hated that. Like when somebody would say, that's not my part or that's not my job. He's like, no, 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 no. Because my dad, being the owner, he would get out there and be working right alongside you. So it was hard to argue with his saying you wasn't going to do that. That wasn't your job when he was doing it. But
That's it.
that's old school compared to now. Every job is specialized, I feel like, nowadays.
It is to an extent, but I definitely, I'm raising two little girls on my own right now, and I definitely they're coming into their teens, and I definitely see that entitledness, and you know what? I don't think there's anything wrong with those old school morals and ethics.
No, no.
I have no opposed to it at all. It's like my girls, and I'm guilty for it. Like I spoil them, and I'll give. You know what? Dad'll go without before those girls go without, and I'll never change that. But I do notice it. It's like, you know what? Like that hard work ethic. I've tried to instill it, but like I don't see a lot of it in today's generation. Like stuff that like we weren't. I would never. There was a line, with your parents. Like my dad was not one you wanted to cross.
Mm-hmm.
But I see that it's like people the way they talk to their relative. Like there was. I would never do it. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I think we need to have a little bit more of that ethics and principles brought back.
I had to teach my daughters a lesson this year about working. And of course we argued and I finally had to put my foot down and say, you're going to get a job or else. And I was like, I'm going to take your car away and you're going to, and the deal is I remember I'm sitting here watching my kids. They're staying up all night and they're sleeping till 1 o'clock in the afternoon during the summer and they're not doing anything. And that was one of my dad's things was you were not going to lay around in his house soaking up the AC and the electricity and not give something. Like you were either mowing the grass, cleaning the fence line, doing something. But you wasn't going to sit inside the house all day long while everybody else was at work, and you wasn't, or you was going to get a job or do something there, period. And if you didn't, he would tell you, hey, you got 2 or 3 days to start doing stuff around here or you're going to be gone. And I was 19 years old. He told me that I got laid off my job. And I think I sat around for, I don't know, half a week. And about half that week, he come home and he says, listen, he said, you had a nice vacation there the last few days. He said, but life ain't like that. He said, when I come home tomorrow, he said, you better done something this yard. As a matter of fact, tomorrow I want you to pull all the vines off the fence and clean that fence up. So I did that. And then he says, after that, I want you to mow the grass, whatever you can do. Pick up sticks, rake the leaves, or whatever. You're going to do something. So I was like, wow. So I kind of had to lay the law down to my kids too. Like, listen, y'all go and find a job. Y'all ain't going to sit around here. And my daughter, she had a hard time. But now she's making money. She's working at Sonic, and she's making a little bit of money, and she likes it. I'm like, yeah, of course. You got your own money.
And it's a difficult thing to do, because you being a single father yourself, are you know, we have to play both roles. We have to play that disciplinary, and we also have to play that compassionate person. And it's hard.
Absolutely.
With women. It's hard with women. We ain't wired like that. We ain't wired like that. So
listen,
you know,
I know. Listen, I was raised by all men. Okay, my dad raised me, and then my brothers, they were older than me, so it was me, my dad, my brothers in the house. And like, I know, I started out not knowing anything about women, hardly at all. So now I know a little bit more, and I still don't know what I should. But Cuddy, I need to have Jake back in here. So, man, thank you for stopping in, and thank you for the good conversation. Everybody, please favorite Cuddy. Please favorite Cuddy. Go check him out. Check his streams out. Show him some love. Great guy.
Awesome, Kenny.
I've been trying to get him on the show since my show began, and we finally was able to work it out. Thank you, Cuddy. I appreciate you, brother.
Thanks for the opportunity, buddy.
You changed your outfit. Dude, you're going out with a bang. Are you going to be dressed like Elvis? Let me find out. If he gets in this box and he's dressed as Elvis, I'm going to die laughing. Just FYI. Ladies and gentlemen,
this is better than Elvis. So this is what I wear to work every day, everybody. Yes, I do actually work for Amazon, which is hilarious.
Take
it home. So we're gonna end this stream out with a bang. We're gonna sing some Tennessee whiskey. Just know, y'all, every time I sing this song, a little bit of my countryside comes out. So y'all gonna see another side of what us Amazon guys like to do when we not delivering packages. So hope you guys enjoy. Ooh. All right, let's get this. Oh, wait. Gotta connect it to the speaker. Give me 1 second. It's connecting. There it goes. All right. Bet. Here we go. Love this song. Used to spend my nights out in a bar room. Liquor was the only love I know. But you rescued me from reaching for the bottom and brought me back from being too far gone. You're as smooth as Tennessee whiskey. You're as sweet as strawberry wine. You're as warm as a glass of brandy. Honey, I stay stoned on your love all the time. I've looked for love in all the same old places. the bottom of a bottle's always dry. But when you poured out your heart, didn't waste it. 'Cause there's nothing like your love to get me high. And you're as smooth as Tennessee whiskey. You're as sweet strawberry wine. You're as warm as glass of brandy. Honey, I stay stoned on your love all the time. Hashtag vibe check. Yes. Come on now. Oh. Yeah. You're as smooth as Tennessee whiskey. You're as sweet strawberry wine. Yeah, you're as warm as glass of brandy. And honey, I stay stoned on your love all the time. Or as smooth, yeah, as Tennessee whiskey. Tennessee whiskey, yeah, Tennessee whiskey. You're as smooth, Tennessee whiskey, Tennessee whiskey, Tennessee whiskey. Yeah! Woo! Drop the mic.
Bro. That was amazing.
Oh, heck yeah.
Hey, I heard you say you write songs too. We're gonna have to get together.
Ooh, yeah, I do.
I got a lot of unfinished stuff that I need help with.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm actually I've always wanted to be an artist. Like that was like what I wanted to do when I was growing up. I'm not gonna say who it was just because you might know who she is, but my mom used to be a country artist growing up, so that's why we traveled a lot. She used to be a singer, but you know, she's retired now. But so if you ever wondered like where I got my voice, I definitely got it from my mom. But I'm actually talking to a couple artists or producers. I've been talking to a couple producers lately about maybe putting out some of my music on Spotify. But it's kind of like low key right now. Like I'm just trying to get some more information, but I'm definitely thinking about recording pretty soon here. So.
Well, you can put your own music on Spotify or Apple or any of it. It's a service called TuneCore, and there's a couple other services that do it for you too.
Yeah. Oh, before I forget, this is not a show, everybody, but so every Sunday afternoon, I don't know, I know there's a lot of Christians in here, so I do a worship night every Sunday night in my streams. So I'll stream like usually around 6 or 7 p.m. I'm Central Time, so if you guys can punch in the times for your zones, but I like to do a worship night, so I'll open up the box and we'll put some praise music on in the background. And if you guys have any prayer requests, you can get in the box or in the comments. Or we pray for people in there. We'll praise and worship, and if you guys are ever interested, that's something I do every Sunday night around 6 or 7 p.m. Central. It's just a worship night, and it's such an amazing night. Like last week we prayed for someone's daughter. This is kind of a praise report, but someone came in my box and her daughter has leukemia, and we prayed for her. And this is actually a blessing, but we just got her. I just found out yesterday. She came in our live, and her daughter is actually in recovery from leukemia. It's completely gone. Completely gone. They did x-rays and everything, and completely gone after we prayed for her. And that's just something right there. Like, I'm not Jesus. I'm far from him. You know, I'm not perfect, but you know what? Power of prayer is very strong. You know, so if you guys ever want to come to our worship night on Sunday nights, it's amazing. And if you need prayer for anything, if you just want to come and worship with us, do it. So.
I ain't trying to cut you off. I got a show at 12:15, which it is right now. So I have to cut this off. For all of y'all that just came in, Trainwreck, I'll be back on in a few minutes. Thank you, everybody, for the gifts. For all the gifts and everybody for being here, man. I love all of y'all. I'll be back on in about 20 minutes, maybe less. All right, Jake, thank you. Blue Eyed Hippie, thank you. And Cuddy, thank you. I'll be back on in a little bit.